Hey, thanks for joining us on Celebrating Act Two again. As you can see, Art and I are with the fabulous Herbie J Pilato, author extraordinaire, who has a new book. Of course, Herbie, you're such a prolific guy. You always have a new book. This one's another Christmas book. Now, we just posted an interview we did with you last year about your Christmas book. This Christmas book is right up your alley. It's the history, I call it the history of television Christmas specials. It's perfect for this time of year. Of course, being a TV guy, I love the subject all year long. I want to know first, is this your 12th book? Am I counting correctly?
I think it's like the 15th or something.
Wow.
I don't know. I really don't. I will say that it's going to be my last for a while because I've churned out a book a year for the last 5 years, and I'm a little tired.
Yeah,
Well,
I can
I have to
imagine.
say, I have to say this. This is the fourth or fifth book that we've had the privilege to review with you,
Yes.
and the last one was the Diana Rigg story. One before it was Sean Connery,
Yeah.
and literally this is the fifth or sixth book. Your research is so exhaustive. I don't know that anybody will find anything, and including this book, that will have so much. It seems like a simple thing, Christmas specials. You got 50 chapters, and I bet you could put in more. Okay, but in
Oh,
each one of them, they're so well
sure.
researched, and the way you tie stuff together with
Yeah.
some. And I'm gonna say this at the very beginning, and then I'm gonna shut up and we'll listen to you. Is even though it wasn't a Christmassy thing, you reminded me of those days of watching Christmas specials, and I've had a couple that were special to me, of a single TV household where the
Yeah.
whole family got together and watched them.
Yes.
We looked forward to watching Andy Williams and his family every year. We would get together as a family. One TV in the house, no streaming, no Netflix, no binge watching. It was just the
No,
one
no,
thing.
watch the TV on your watch.
Right, right. Dick Tracy, like we all thought the Dick Tracy thing was crazy. People, yeah, they're watching it
Well, they
every
do that
place.
today, sure.
Yeah. I have to say, though, picking up on Art's point, that it you really did capture a whole more than one
Mm.
era of TV specials of Christmas times, if you will. Even though, of course, you had to limit it. I mean, nobody could talk about every TV special ever made. But you covered what, about 40 years, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and you touched my heart with so many of these things that I remember at different ages and watching the stars. And you got Marlo Thomas to write the introduction. What a wonderful tribute.
There was
She was perfect.
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful forward. Well, first of all, I was completely flabbergasted that she said yes,
Yeah.
and first she said, well, let me read it first before I, give you an answer. And then she read it, and then she wrote it, the forward, and I could not have imagined that she would write something so beautiful and so touching and so personal toward me.
Yeah.
It was just beautiful. So that was an amazing thing. And no, I could not cover every single Christmas TV special that was ever made, because that would be impossible.
Right.
So I thought, let me just zero in on, first of all, the 50s, 60s, and 70s. There's some 80s and 90s in there too, and some early 2000s. But the classic Christmas specials that we've known are really from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. So then I had to pinpoint just, what were best representative of the animated specials and
Sure.
the TV movies and the variety specials, and then the episodic. So especially with the episodic, there's some countless
Oh, yeah.
Christmas episodes of shows, weekly shows that were done. So I just tried to choose the most representative the best representative of each of those categories.
Well, you did a great job.
Thank
You did a great job. And I love the fact that you broke it into sections that I can handle.
you. Hmm.
Particularly when we got to the section 2, the animated
Hmm.
cartoons. I was at ABC as an executive and on the West Coast and for Channel 7. And every year, of course, the network tells you what are the network programs going to play. Well, every year we got the same animated specials. And of course, the animated specials could last forever. For instance, Marlo Thomas talked about doing voices for some of those. But the live specials were the ones that caught me. That's section 1.
Hmm.
And those were for a unique period where, gosh, I remember. I think you brought out Andy Williams and his family, and they were family shows. They weren't just singing and dancing; they were family shows. They were wonderful. You just captured so much. It really is a great book.
Well, thank you. And this week marks December 6th, this Friday, marks the exact 60th anniversary of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which debuted on NBC Friday, December 6th, 1964. And it's coming back to NBC because it went to like CBS for a while. And I think
Yeah.
maybe ABC once, I think. But now it's back on NBC and its 60th anniversary on the exact day and date from 2024 to 1964. That's a big deal. And
Oh yeah.
that's
Oh,
big.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, as I say, the animation can live forever. I
So,
remember, as an aside, remember when Dinah Shore sued
mhm.
somebody because they played her reruns and her
Oh yeah.
dresses were out of date?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So you can't have that problem with animation.
So I want to
No.
ask you. I want to ask you this because, first of all, highly recommend get online right now and order this for anybody that you know that's either loves TV and TV history or is of a certain age of 50, 60, 70 and beyond. Okay, this is just going to flood back memories. I don't care whether you're Jewish or you're Christian or you're Muslim. Doesn't matter. If you grew up in America and probably any place in the world, you've seen these specials. And I was going to say, besides the Andy Williams, which was very special to me, I was enamored with just his style, his softness, but also I love the USO Bob Hope
Oh,
shows.
Yeah.
Those were a
were
highlight for
monumental.
me every year. So,
Those were monumental. And my father, was a World War II veteran, and I remember, and I talk about this in the introduction. When we would watch those Bob Hope specials, he would always say, there was just nobody like Bob Hope. He did so much with his persona, which I believe every celebrity should do, is to utilize their persona for the betterment of society in some way, besides
Sure.
just becoming a star and singing and dancing and entertaining for the world. So the great thing is too, when I was working at NBC in 1984, 85, I had the great privilege of working one of the Bob Hope Christmas specials that year, because he
mhm.
did, during the Vietnam era, he would do one at Vietnam and then he would do another one in studio. Well, in 1985, years after the Vietnam War, there I was, at NBC Burbank, working as a page, the Bob
Right.
Hope Christmas special, and watching him sing Silver Bells, which was his signature song that he debuted in the movie Lemon Drop Kid, and that
Mhm.
became his Christmas song. And he would sing it with a different female celebrity every year. And that year he sang it with Shirley Jones. And I'm like, where am I? 10 years before, I was back in Rochester, New York, watching specials on TV.
Yeah.
And there I am in the studio with Bob Hope and
Yeah.
Shirley Jones. It was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
that was
want you to
obviously a
address.
very special moment for you. But could you share with our audience, because it's just there are 4 sections and 50 chapters, as well as the just heartwarming opening, the introduction by Marlo Thomas. Give us a sense of if somebody picks this book up for themselves or for a gift for somebody, what are some of the highlights that you'd like to point out as the author?
Well, the book is called Christmas TV Memories, nostalgic holiday favorites of the small screen. Well, it's not just, it's certainly not my memories, and it's not necessarily, the people who were in these shows of their memories. It was the memories that the audience overall, remembered. It's their memories that I tried to mainstream and capture. I just wanted to make sure that I covered Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, Frosty the Snowman, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, The Night the Animals Talked, Charlie Brown Christmas, which, there he was, Linus talking about the real meaning of Christmas on a cartoon in 1965, and what Christmas meant. And by the way, I'm so glad you mentioned that this is a book for everybody, because everybody has their holiday experience, and I tried to cover that too. We talk about the Hanukkah episode, for example, of That Girl. So Marlo Thomas did a Christmas episode, which was a sequel to the Mary Tyler Moore Christmas episode that she did, because it was written by the same guy, the great James L. Brooks, who created the Mary Tyler Moore Show. He actually wrote for That Girl before he went on to do Mary Tyler Moore. Not to mention, too, that most of the great, not all of them, but most of the great Christmas songs are written by people who happen to be Jewish. So I think that's fantastic. So I think there were TV movies in particular, too, that have been special to people. The Gathering, starring Ed Asner, The Homecoming, which was really the backdoor pilot for the Waltons.
Yeah.
There was an episode of Father Knows Best, a TV movie, a reunion movie of Father Knows Best called Home for Christmas from 1977 that I didn't watch until 1991. And I didn't even really know about Father Knows Best as a kid, because that was before my time. So I saw Father Knows Best Home for Christmas, which was low budgeted, videotaped. They didn't even film it like the original show. They videotaped it because the budget was so low, but the story was there. And as a result of that movie, I learned to love Father Knows Best, and I started watching it. And it's one of the best TV family shows in history. There was another TV movie called The House Without a Christmas Tree, starring Jason Robards and Mildred Natwick and Lisa Lucas, who I interviewed. She played the little girl on that show who her father did not want to, and I'm not going to tell the end of it because I think everybody needs to watch that movie, did not want to have a Christmas tree. And we only find out why at the end, but she's torn up about it. Anyway, another low budgeted TV movie, videotaped also, like Father Knows Best Home for Christmas, but the script is so touching and so beautiful, and the acting is so wonderful that it's one of my top 3 TV movies. Marlo Thomas, It Happened One Christmas, which is a remake of It's a Wonderful Life. Father Knows Best Home for Christmas, and The House Without a Christmas Tree. So those 3 are my top TV movies, Christmas movies.
I was so pleased that you did movies of the week, because that, today we have channels that are dedicated to movies of a certain stripe. But back then, the movie of the week was a real big event.
Absolutely.
And
everything was a big event, John.
Yeah.
Everything, every show, every night, time stopped. So everything was a big event. There was so much showmanship. We've talked about this before. It's the showmanship and the charm is not in the new shows today. It's just not.
Yeah. Well, you touched on pretty much every aspect, maybe not every show, but every aspect. You did a great job of organizing it so I could digest most of this. And of course, even though I've been around on the planet a long time, I have not seen all those shows. Believe it or not, I have not seen every single show. So I got a big kick out of it. Yeah. Although I was a big fan of Lawrence Welk.
Oh, you know what?
Very, very pleased that you included Lawrence Welk in there. People forget him now. If you're if you're not 60 or 65 or older, you don't even know who he was.
Right.
But
Oh, that was such
it's a
a
big
great
deal.
show. And Tanya Welk, yeah, I interviewed, which
Yes.
was his daughter-in-law, and she performed on the show. Tina Cole, I interviewed from the King family. I
Yes.
interviewed, like I said, Lisa Lucas from The House Without a Christmas Tree, Marlo Thomas, Eleanor Donahue from Father Knows Best. I interviewed the young kid who did the voiceover for A Christmas Carol 1971 half-hour animated version of that film, which starred, oh gosh, I'm blanking on his name. The original Mr. Scrooge from the 1950s classic A Christmas Carol. Oh God, what is his name? Please, somebody help me.
I can picture him, but I can't get the name. I'm sorry.
Well, anyway, he did the animated voiceover for this special in 1971.
Yeah.
So I try to make everyone, to connect some show with everybody that who would connect with it at home. Try
By
to
the way, I need to interrupt here and say that in this issue of the book that you sent us, which was really pre-production, it didn't have the illustrations in them. And in past reviews, one of the things that I marveled at was the curation that you've done of the imagery that you've included in the book, which is worth the price of the book alone. Diana Riggs, just stunning, that collection. So I sent you a note and said, how can we talk about the illustrations here? I haven't seen them. I'd like to, I know that they're going to be great. And you were kind enough to send me about 15 or 20 of them, and they are stupendous. Anybody who sees them will immediately get a flood back of, yeah, I remember that. Oh, yeah. And so I don't know how many illustrations you have in this book, but there must be
we have
dozens.
About, I think about 30 or 40, I think. But they're in the middle. And because I like to put most of the photos in the middle, and it's a glossy and their color and it's just gorgeous.
They are classic. Great memory photos. I love them. But I wanted to mention one other thing, and that is that you included not just a lot of the actors, but you included producers and directors and other executives talking about these shows. And it's a wonderful, that's what makes this book so rich, quite frankly. It's not just an opinion.
Historians who grew up like I did.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure, yes, that it wasn't just about the stars. It was about the people, because just like any other TV show, a TV show or a TV special, whatever it is not going to mean anything unless it's watched by fans who adore it. So I really wrote the book for the fans of Christmas TV specials.
Yeah. Okay, so we're giving away too much stuff. We're giving away too much stuff. You got to go buy the book. And where can they buy the book?
They can buy the book on Amazon or Barnes & Noble or wherever happy, nice books are sold. Certainly, too, if you'd like a personally signed copy, you could go to herbiejpilato.com, my official website, and go to the store on that website. You can contact me via Facebook or Instagram, LinkedIn, X. I'm still on X. So, and I will, just let me know, and I will let you know how to order a personally signed copy, and I'll send it right to your house, hopefully by Christmas.
Well, it's a wonderful gift. And I have to tell you, as a fan of TV, I think it's a great gift all year round, because you've curated so many stories and gotten so many people from those shows to contribute stories, that it's just a great read. If you like if you ever watch television and you want to know what happens, this is the book. I loved it. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And hopefully we'll be sharing with you your new book.
Yeah.
I have one new book coming out in the spring. I don't want to say what it is right now. It's very, very different than anything I've ever done. The Christmas book that I did last year, a couple years ago, called The 12 Best Secrets of Christmas, which of course I would also recommend as a companion book to this new one. That was different because it didn't have anything to do really with Hollywood. It had to do more with my life.
Sure.
So this other book coming out in the spring is completely different than anything I've ever done
What a
before.
great tease. Okay, but we're on behalf of everybody who's read your work and
Yeah.
ourselves personally. Okay,
Yeah.
you could stop writing for like a month. Okay, take a break. We know that you deserve it, and then get back to work, will you? Because there's got to be another one of these tomes in you, and they're just a delight to read. Thank you, Herbie
Oh,
J.
thank you very much. All right, it's very sweet. You guys are the best.
And
You know,
happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you, and may all your holiday dreams come true to those who are watching, and to you, Art and John.
For more on Celebrating Act Two, visit our webpage, follow us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and tell your friends. Celebrating Act Two is the user manual for the second half of your life.